They started far better than us, and I think probably overall, you can see why they are where they are, and they're as clear in this division as what they've seen. And don't think there are too many, better teams than I've seen in this division. But we needed to get closer to them, and there can only be two strategies. One, that you're better on the ball, because this were a team that were very, very good on the ball, but also pressed very hard, or we was able to get closer to them and knock them off their stride, don't allow them to play the type of game that they wanted to, and we never got close enough to them in that first half period. Second half better, and the ironic thing is that we were up against a better team than us, that played better than us tonight, but we've probably still had three really good chances in the game, and if we get one of them, you never know. We were far better in that second half than what we were, but of course at that stage they were 2-0 up, and it became a hard evening.
Yeah, they won the game in the first quarter of an hour, really, didn't they?
Yeah, they started a lot brighter than what we did, and the game plan wasn't any different for the 90 minutes. Our intensity was better as the game went on, and our intensity needed to be better. I think the difficulty sometimes is because they've got such good movement. They create spaces, they have got a rhythm in their game, is that sometimes players in positions are not quite sure whether to press, because if they're pressing too hard, they've got a lot of players that can play around that press. So I think sometimes that indecision, plays a part in it. But we needed to get closer to them because they had too much of their own way in that first half period.
I was going to say, how disappointing is that, Chris, when you've laid your game plan out, which is that you've got to get close to them and you've got to kind of stop them playing, if you like, in the early stages, and then it falls apart as it did in the opening 10 minutes.
Yeah, and it is difficult because it's so early in the game, and at that stage it's always going to be hard, to get back on level terms. So that is disappointing. There is a part of me that also says, these are a top team, and they showed it. And what they use really well was them central areas, and players coming off the shape. And it is hard, when they're in a rhythm. It's hard to stay with it, and it's hard, to perhaps get to the ball and press as hard as what you would want to. But there's no other option, unless you want to be a team that sits back and defends, and they are in such a good rhythm at the moment that I think if you do that, you're just inviting them onto you. So it's trying to get them balances, and we just didn't get it right enough with our intensity, particularly probably the first 20-25 minutes of the game.
They've kind of showed really where you need to get to, don't they? They may be Norwich another class apart, but you seem a long way off there at the moment.
Yeah, but probably not just us. This is a team that they've got a way of playing, and have probably, some of these have had 3 years, 3 years playing this way. So they are incredibly well drilled at the way that they play, and of course they've got good players playing that way. Their main players have been fit all season. They have an outstanding centre forward that works as hard going back as he does going forward, and always a threat. So it's a difficult evening for us, and probably come the end of the night, I think our performance in that second half was a lot better. As I said, we have created some chances, some good chances, but I think probably over 90 minutes it shows where they are and where we are.
Lots of changes in the team tonight, Chris. I think you made 5, and then there was the positional change with Cafu moving forward as well. How many enforced? Brice Samba, first of all, is he injured, or was that a tactical
Yeah, we had
decision?
two injuries over the last couple of days. That's Brice and Anthony Knockhart. Both of them I think will be close on Saturday. These are very, very slight injuries, but certainly with Brice, it's one where it was just lower on his hamstring, but very, very minimal, and that was probably a little bit more of a precaution, because the position he plays and the amount of kicking that he has to do, and if we were to risk that, it could turn into a 3-4 week one. So I think certainly he'll be in the frame for Saturday, as will Anthony as well. So both minimal. Left back was a decision. What I've got at the moment, as you know, is I've got 3 left backs at this moment, and they're all pushing to play, and that was just a choice for me. Cafu was just one. I thought we wanted a little bit more intensity, off the front to be able to get to their centre halves, and of course that meant bringing Yatesy back in.
What about Tyler Blackett at left back? I was going to mention that. I know you spend most of the time talking about your left backs at the moment. I mean, his first game, I think his first start since under you. Yes. I think you've not started him yet, largely because he's been injured. A tough game to come back into, but what did you make of,
I thought he grew into the game, and it was. I think it was a tough game certainly to come in for his first game under myself. But I think for whoever played, and we, for a back four, certainly it was a tough evening, particularly in that first half period. But I thought he grew into the game, got into some good crossing positions, gave us something also offensively. So I think considering it's his first game for a long time, I thought he did well.
What about the kind of mentality of your squad, Chris, in terms of, or of your team, after that first half, and it was if we're honest, it was a bit of a lesson, wasn't it, in the first half? How pleased were you with the way they came back at half time? How hard did you have to work on them at half time to get more of what you wanted out of them?
Well, certainly I got into them at half time, but I think probably I wasn't telling them anything that they didn't already know. That if we are going to be able to stop this team playing, or having the type of possession that they were having and the chances that they were having, then we're going to have to be more aggressive in our play. So I think that was something natural to say at half time. I think they knew it. We was able to do it, and we were able to give them more of a game in the second half period. There is, again, some of me that accepts we were up against a very, very good team in this division at this level, a very, very well-drilled team that are in great momentum at the moment. But we needed to be better than what we were. It might not have changed the result of the game because, say, they had chances and they've pushed for it. But we needed to be better.
And you'll need to be better on Saturday because it doesn't get much easier, does it, going to Brentford?
Well, that's what I've told them is that if I'm looking at that second half performance, we're going to have to put in a performance that's closer to that second half performance than first half, because we're up against I think Norwich are the best team, but we're up against a team that are not far off them.